you guys kept on asking, and I kept on saying I was going to do it, and I never did. I think the first time I was asked was probably about 3 months ago now. So guess what? We're finally doing it. Walk around on the second gen. So there's quite a few things I've done to this truck, probably a few things I hopefully am not going to forget. The biggest things that a lot of you have asked about is the exhaust brake system on this truck, because it's an automatic and it has an exhaust brake. I know most of the time, thought I'd grease my arm. Most of the time on an exhaust brake on a second gen or third, whatever you got, they're always manuals. There's very little details that I found online, on YouTube specifically, about the exhaust brake on a second gen automatic Ram. So you can buy one. You can totally do it. I know BD Diesel makes one. I don't like their system as much because it's vacuum controlled. I have a Pac Brake remote system on this truck. I mean, remote as in it doesn't go on the stock turbo, because as you've seen before, I don't have a stock turbo on this truck. So it's, you know, about mid-length down the exhaust pipe. So with Pac Brake's exhaust brake, they have the version that goes straight to your stock OEM turbo. You know, goes right off the hot side on the turbine. Because I have a different turbo on this truck, they make a remote system that goes, you know, halfway down the length, and it's a 4-inch exhaust instead of a 3-inch. So you need that different style. The nice thing with it, you get an air compressor and a half-gallon holding tank. I'll open up the hood here in a second, and I got this air chuck here also. So I mean, if you need to fill up your tires, or I mean, there's not enough tank. You know, half a gallon isn't enough to run an impact gun or any air tool. Got the tank right there for it, and just a line plumbed off that goes to the compressor underneath the hood. And then the exhaust brake itself is right here, right next to the transfer case on the truck. You can see the cylinder there and everything. So that's the remote system. There is a black box that goes down underneath over here, and the exhaust brake is just controlled by this switch. That's off, that's on. I just leave it on. It engages the moment you let off the throttle. You do have to be in lockup. I'll get to that here in a second. So I actually never did get back to that by mistake. So you need to be in lockup, which means you need to have lockup in third gear or fourth gear. You can actually make your transmission lock up in second gear, but you need a different valve body. So it's saying that if you have a first gen automatic, this will not work, because first gen transmissions do not have lockup. But I don't know if you can see it. I tossed it up here. See this thing? That's the entire block or box that controls the transmission with the exhaust brake. All right, so then with that, so here's your compressor, you know, keeps the tank charged. And so you got these lines running. One feeds your tank, one's your intake, or you know, your filter right here, and then the other one goes down to your actual exhaust brake. As you can see, I have an ATS 3000 on this truck, and there's no exhaust brake right there. On your OEM style, they clamp on right there. I don't like that version as much, because I heard it makes higher EGTs when you're braking. This exhaust brake, if I'm cruising down, EGTs are at like 500 degrees. I think with the other style, you're probably around 700 or 800. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, cooler the better, right? So that's what's going on there. I mean, that's the entire system. The biggest thing with doing an exhaust brake on an automatic, number one, you need to have a halfway decent transmission, because the exhaust brake can actually begin to make your torque converter slip, or slip your bands when you're in lockup, because these transmissions are not meant for that. So this is a built transmission. It's a moderately-ish built, you know, I got a built torque converter, and, you know, just better guts all the way throughout, and better valve body, higher pressure and stuff like that. You know, like 5,000-ish. So with that, I know it's going to be able to hold the exhaust brake, and I know it's going to be able to hold more power. You know, I'm hoping if it holds like 500 or 600 horsepower, it'll be fine. That's more than enough. I would really recommend upgrading your transmission, because an exhaust brake can really destroy the living heck out of it if you don't have those higher pressures to hold the gears when you're using the brake. It's not like the brake has a ton of braking horsepower. It definitely works. Honestly, if you have an exhaust brake on a truck like this, you'll never drive another one without it. It's super nice driving always in lockup. Your transmission temperatures are cooler. Staying in lockup, whenever you let off, you don't unlock. The moment you put your foot back on the throttle, it's right there. You know, just like the newer trucks, like my 5th gen. It doesn't unlock unless you're in, you know, low end of 2nd gear or in 1st gear. That's the only time it's unlocked. Other than that, it's always locked. So that is a big thing. And for you guys that have 12 valves, it clearly states when you buy a Pac Brake, exhaust brake, or any of the other ones, I think, you need to upgrade your valve train on the truck. You need to get heavier valve springs, and they have their own set that they recommend. I don't know what they are. This is a 24 valve. You don't have to do that with a 24 valve. 12 valve, you do. You're just gonna destroy stuff. The engine compression can't actually hold the exhaust brake's back pressure. So it's useless, and you're just gonna destroy stuff, probably. But with a 2nd gen, a 24 valve, you don't have to worry about that. That's not a necessary thing. I mean, you still can if you want to, why not? That's pretty much the main process. That's how it works. It's super simple. It's not the most convenient install. You do have to kind of tap into the wiring harness of the truck up here in your loom. You can see I got a few tiny little dinky wires in there. I'm not the most cleanest thing. Honestly, my brother did help me out install this because I am not a wiring guy. My brother is just a badass with that type of stuff. So I appreciate my brother because he is the wiring guru in my life. So yeah, so you got to do a little bit of hack and tapping, installing this thing. I kind of wish I made a video. I wasn't really getting into too much YouTube when I first installed this. This was just about a year back. I thought about it, but I never did it. I kind of wish I did, but I'm sorry. Overall, it's not a bad install if you know what you're doing. They have a very, very good printout and everything, directions on what to do. I could have done it, but I was just kind of on the nervous side. My brother's really good at that type of stuff, so I took advantage of that. Highly recommend the exhaust brake on this truck. I would 100% build your transmission first if it hasn't been built already before you install an exhaust brake, so you don't just completely destroy the living heck out of your truck for no good reason. That's it on the exhaust brake side. I hope I answered most of your questions. Of course, I'll do a few drives also with the exhaust brake showing it, its operation, all that good stuff too. Next, I'm just going to start from front to back on this truck. So engine wise on the front, I kind of became like a, ATS person. ATS intake horn. This, people say it's a waste of money. Yeah, it kind of is. Only thing I've ever seen that benefit me was in the top end of things. Honestly, being an overdrive, it helped out a little bit in airflow. The only reason why I noticed, there's a huge grade when I'm leaving my house, and if I'm in 4th gear lockup, before, when the truck was bone stock, that was like one of the first things I did. I would never be able to get up that entire grade in 4th gear. It would always have to downshift. But the moment I put that on, it was actually able to hold 4th gear, and it had just enough power to get up it. That was like the only thing I really saw a difference. So intake horn. And then upgraded the boots to Mishimoto's because the other ones were just destroyed and they were going to leak or they were going to bulge sooner or later. Biggest reason why I changed it is because this body line right here, I bent it back, but it was right up against this tube and it started cutting a hole in it right here. So that was my biggest reasoning to changing all the boots. And then, as you can see, I upgraded the transmission cooler to this Mishimoto. This has been a humongous benefit for this truck. I wish they made even bigger ones, but this thing is already like 50% larger than the OEM version. The OEM is trash compared to this thing. This thing is monstrous compared to the stock transmission cooler on these trucks. I do the DPS manifold. That was a huge bonus for sure. My stock one, actually, when I took it off, was not cracked, surprising enough, for 250,000 miles on this truck. But I mean, it benefited. I did the manifold, turbo, and this cold air intake all at the same time. It was nice because, I mean, these things are already tapped for an EGT probe. I have just the Edge live monitor. There's no tunes on this truck whatsoever. So I did that coupled with the ATS Aurora 3000, and I put this heat shield. Like, I just drove my truck here, and I can touch the top of the turbo. It's still freaking hot, but I can still touch it. It just helps keep a lot of that engine bay heat out, and it allows for the turbo to heat up and cool a little bit better duration, I guess. S&B cold air intake, you know, again, that's for the Pac Brake.
One thing I really forgot to mention is the S&B cold air intake with the Pac Brake air compressor is a very tight fit. I would recommend getting a different intake or relocating the compressor to a better spot.
That's kind of the bulk of it under the hood. There's I built this little bracket with my brother to hold all the pieces for the Edge live like plugins. So they just kind of clip in right here, which is kind of nice. We were bored, so we made something like that. And, you know, stuff we do. So on the front end, because everybody knows that the front end on these trucks are absolutely horrendous. So going from the front, eBay headlights, they're okay-ish. And then these are my bread and butter for seeing on the road. They're DOT legal fog lights. And don't be saying, oh, he's about to just be DOT legal. No, no, no. Like, the DOT ones are actually quality. These were only $100 for the pair, and these things are like laser beams. They are super, super bright. I'll show you right now. These are bright. They are a laser beam. You don't blind oncoming traffic, and you can see super, super well with them. I absolutely love these things. I mean, look at that. It's still daylight outside. I mean, yeah. Those are a huge, awesome upgrade to have. I almost want to buy another pair and just stick them in the headlights. So yeah, those are Amazon find right there. I really, really like these. Next, how many of you guys actually have tow hooks on your second gen? My brother and I, we built these, and my brother actually sells them now. These are actually our prototypes. The other ones that we're making now, they are a third of a ton bigger. They are way, way bigger. And they pretty much go where the OEM versions go to. So, I mean, they just bolt on here, onto your frame rail, and right around here, you know, it ties into your bumper, and down here, you know, he gives you all the bolts and everything. Again, this is the first ones that we made. The ones that we make now are way thicker and a lot better. They're thicker on the plates and on the actual tow hook. And we actually had them tested on like a virtual thing. One of his friends does it, and it works out pretty dang good. So continuing on with the front end, of course, I got this stabilizer bar here. The power steering box is replaced. I got a new one. I have a way better one too. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I do have the 4th gen steering system on this truck. I'm not too sure on the years, but my truck is an 01, and these ones are just straight, just bolt on. I think if you have a 98.5 and older truck, you have to remount your knuckles for this system to fit. But 98.5 and up to 2002, I think, you can just plop these in. Don't worry about that wire. So from there, I have a Synergy suspension, 3rd generation track bar. It gets rid of the old terrible ball joint style on these trucks. That's it right there, how it changes that style. Way beefier system and just better overall. I mean, it is thick, it is huge, and it gets rid of the dumb ball joint that always fails. So that is for suspension. And these 4th gen ones on the steering, these things are beef. I completely recommend doing that. Awesome, awesome upgrade. Just a leveling kit on the front, Bilstein shocks, Bilstein stabilizer. This does have aftermarket control arms. I do want to get long arms for it that WFO makes, or that my neighbor can make for me. They're worn out, but they're still better than the OEM ones that are just stamped steel. Let's see here. Brakes, I use Hawk rotors and EBC green stuff brake pads. I've seen that those honestly have always worked the best for me for my trucks and cars. The best combination, really.
Another thing I forgot to mention, if you have a 99 plus truck, you can actually upgrade the front brakes to 3rd gen with a larger caliper and larger rotors.
So next on the list, as I sweat my butt off out here, inside is like okay clean. It's a mess because of me, but Cabela's seat covers, you know, this is not ripped or anything. I don't know how. Dog hair absolutely everywhere. My cup holder is not broken. My steering wheel is not cracked. My dash is not cracked at all. I know not very many people can say that because this dash has been replaced. Headliner isn't sagging on this truck, which is a huge plus because I hate doing headliner. Not a fan of it. You know, honestly, if anybody can find these steering wheel covers, please tell me. I would love to buy one, another one, because I can't find them anymore. So best thing I've ever done interior wise was this floor mat, and it's a extreme catch-all. I forgot where the heck I bought it, but it is just a massive one-piece style that goes throughout the entire floorboard. I absolutely love the heck out of this thing. Totally worth that buy. I think it was $100 when I bought it, so it's really not that bad at all. Power windows, power locks, rear door, I mean, you know, all the camera stuff. As we walk back on the truck, I got the old man steps. I have an AirDog 165 pump on this truck, nice and tucked away and hidden. I don't understand the people that actually have them below the frame. I would totally rip that off. No thanks. No lift on the truck except for that leveling kit. B&W ball gooseneck on this truck because this thing used to be my daily tower until I bought the 5th gen. Still got to change the shocks on the rear. I have another set of Bilsteins for the back. I just haven't gotten around to it. I have these like Super 8 wheels. Actually, Sam just put something super similar on his truck, on the red truck. I absolutely love the heck out of these wheels. I found them on some crazy Black Friday sale. They were like $50 a wheel, so I bought those. Those have been my favorite purchase for this truck probably. That was like the best steal of the deal right there. Mud flaps. I bought this little system here because I was bored. I actually bought that for my Jeep, so I was legal to drive on the road, but then she started becoming a trailer queen, so I put them on this truck. I actually like it. It keeps a lot of stuff off the goosenecks and the trailers when I'm towing, you know, double flap status. So then coming around back, you know, boarding right here, get a little nice little badge. Got these Amazon special backup lights for the truck. These things are a must. They are bright as heck. I mean, they're brighter than the headlights on this truck. I love them. When I bought this truck, this trailer hitch is actually off of my Gasser 2500. When I first bought this truck, I didn't even notice. I was looking at the hitch, and the entire center of it was tweaked over to the right, and I was like, that can't be right. So I swapped out the hitch to this style. I relocated, and this sucker just bolted right up, no problem. And when I first got the truck also, the trailer brake wiring, the 7-pin system was just completely destroyed because someone hit the hitch with something, and it destroyed this entire piece, and it destroyed the back wiring. So I actually went and found online, they have a complete like hack and tap system from Mopar to replace the 7-pin system on the truck. So if you guys ever have that problem, it's a super easy fix. It ties in. There's I mean, it's a hack and tap, but it doesn't really hack and tap. It plugs straight into your tail lights and reverse lights, and your charging system, it just plugs in. It takes place of those, and I can't explain it that well. And then you just give the entire loom power and ground from your battery. It was like a $70 harness, and it gives you the new receptacle plug for your 7-pin. And then I bought a new actual 7-pin adapter. $100 done. and it was maybe like, I think I made a video on YouTube. You can check it out. Super simple, super easy system. And then, so that was like one of the first things I did because I needed to tow with this truck. Still walking around, let's see what the heck we got here. Losing track. Replaced this mud flap because the other one just broke off all of a sudden. It's somewhere on the highway, I don't know. These bed rails, my brother and I made, you know, got my initials on there. And, you know, got some more tie down points for the bedside because, you know, they never have enough on these things. And, you know, I just put these big old bolts on there because they look good. And, you know, this will rip off the entire bedside before that fails. Then I just have this better built 36-gallon transfer tank on this truck. Fill right pump for the equipment and stuff like that. And then I found out I'm going for a long trip. It's, you know, 36 more gallons. It's the size of this tank, so you get double the distance when you're doing, you know, long drives. And talking about long drives, I guess distance, ever since I changed the injectors on this truck, I now have DDP, or not, DDP 100 over injectors on this truck. I've been getting close and nearly 30 miles a gallon on this truck, and it's been the way I'm driving, which has been kind of douchey because I'm just enjoying the power on this truck. That's something I wish I did way earlier on. Doing the 100 horse injectors on this truck is absolutely awesome. Completely recommend doing that. The power is, it's a lot more fun to drive, I'll tell you that much. I completely forgot to mention the injector part. So yeah, I mean, imagine a truck like this, you got 72 gallons of fuel overall, and you're getting 28 to 32 miles a gallon. You got a long range. So yeah, that's a benefit. I mean, tailgate still opens and closes. Of course, when I bought the truck, these things were broke, so I got a nice used old set to replace that. The tailgate don't fall off. Tail lights still work. She's gonna need tires here sooner or later. They're still okay. I like these Goodyear Duratracs. You can stud them during the winter time, and they the tires themselves work really good in the ice and snow. They've been kind of like my favorite. I'm not a Goodyear fan, but these have been my more favorite tires for winterized or winter driving. So those are like the bulk of it. Of course, if you guys have questions, just comment down below. A few things that are wrong with it. Tappet cover is leaking. And the rear main seal is leaking. I really need to fix those. Those are the biggest things that need to be done. Other than that, oh yeah, still need to fix the AC on the truck. Well, the AC's fixed, I just need to charge it. That's been a chore and a half. I mean, I guess the truck's overall, you know, so 2001 Ram 2500 has a 355 gear ratio on the truck. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, it does have the Lock system on the truck. I did a video about it on my YouTube page, where it gets rid of the vacuum actuated system for the front axle lock, so you can't have any vacuum failure. The best part about having that Lock, let's say you're towing something super heavy and don't want to burn up your transmission, even if you have a manual or an automatic. You just want to be able to go up easier on a hillside or a hill. You can put this thing in four-wheel drive and not be in four-wheel drive. It's just going to give you that much lower gear ratio to start off, or have that lower end torque without burning anything up on the truck. I mean, I think the only thing you're going to do if you're really bound up that bad, you're just going to snap a driveline or blow up your rear axle. So that was definitely a nice thing I did on the truck. My vacuum actuated axle never failed. I just always want to do that Lock system on the truck because it's that much more convenient when you're towing heavy, and you just want that lower gear without being in actual four-wheel drive, because especially if you're on asphalt, you don't want to be on four-wheel drive. So that's your Lock right here. You just pull that out and you're engaged, and you just push it back in and it disengages. Most of the time you got to like kind of steer left and right and keep on pulling on it. So actually, I mean, you'll feel it'll pull out much further when that sleeve actually slips over the axles to lock it up. And that's what that wire that was hanging down, I just got to cut that and splice it in so it still knows when it's in four-wheel drive or not, because right now with that on, it doesn't tell you. That's honestly kind of the bulk of it. I will never get rid of this truck. I absolutely love the heck out of this thing. It's not a California truck, it's a federal truck, so it never had EGR to even begin with. Being a 24 valve, I'm not too sure if the other ones had it. I know all California models had it. They even had them on 12 valves. So that was the dumbest thing ever. But yeah, bone stock, this thing never had EGR. It was just the true simplistic 24 valve truck. I'm happy to actually finally get this video. Sorry it took so dang long, but it's finally done. So any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I really hope I was able to walk through the exhaust brake system on the truck the best I could with the best explanation. If you guys have any additional questions, I always enjoy answering those. Please do leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Would you do it different? Do you want to do your truck the same way? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Let me know. This is my taste, kind of grandpa-ish looking truck. It's not too blingy, or it's kind of simple in a way. I've always done more engine stuff than I have done like visuals and stuff like that on vehicles until I'm done with the engine. Then I start getting to more visuals. But I'm really not that committed on making it look that good, but I do like halfway good looking stuff. That is my second gen. These are, I forgot to mention, these are 4-gen mirrors. I mean, there's a bunch of small little things I've done to this truck that I honestly forget until I remember. It's, you know, things start blending together. I absolutely love the heck out of her. I mean, I'll take this thing across the country, no problem. I have no problem doing it whatsoever. I know she would make it. She has never let me down. I doubt she ever will. Just stay up on things. Make sure your starters don't fall out of the truck. Ask me how I know. I just tripped over that rock again. You're done. No, it's a rock. Leave it. Hey, dude. All right. So that, I mean, that's the bulk of it. I love this truck. I really do. I love old trucks. They are a pain in the butt sometimes because of what you want to do to them, the things you want to do to them. Sometimes new is very convenient, like my new truck, even though I still start doing a bunch of stuff to it. But overall, love this truck. It is, she's my own gem. She's a kick butt little thing. Love the heck out of it. Again, you guys, if you have any additional questions about what I talked about on this truck, if you want more clarification, I'll do my best. In all honesty, you can follow me on my Instagram, and you can message me on there if you want to. Sometimes I miss comments here and there, but I do try to answer every comment that I can. So if you have more questions, more comments, comment down below what you guys think. If you have more questions, just ask. Follow me on Instagram. I'm an operator. You'll see what I kind of do on the daily, my cluster of a life for the most part. But yeah, that's about it. Please like, please subscribe. I really do appreciate all the support. Loving the heck out of it. Thank you guys for your time watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, whatever the heck I just said. I'm sweating my butt off just standing out here. So there you go. Second gen walk around is finally done. And for you guys, for the equipment side of things, I swear I will get to them. I know a lot of people have been asking me about the excavator, the tiny little KX040, and all that kind of stuff. It's really weird when you start talking and you're out of breath from talking. It's weird. I really don't talk that often, except for this camera. I swear I'll get to those. Sorry, I've been super busy. Yeah, I think that's about it. Bye.